What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today we are going to be looking at the best summons in Elden Ring Part 2. I did a Part 1 video on this a few months ago and you guys absolutely loved it, but there were some summons that you guys recommended that I thought I would go back and try out. So this video is dedicated to those summons that are still incredibly good and I believe in that A or S tier area of summons that you want to use in Elden Ring on either your first or your 100th playthrough. So with that being said, let's get into it. Also, just a disclaimer right here before the video starts, I am not going to be talking about the Mimic tier or the Black Knife Tiche. Those were covered in my first video, so if you want to know more about those, please go watch that one. But everybody knows about those summons. They are incredibly good, even after some nerfs, so this is going to have nothing to do with them. So starting off on our number 1 slot, in no particular order at all, we are going to be talking about Omenkiller Rollo. Now, Omenkiller is one of my all-time favorite summons after a bunch of you guys recommended that I try him out, since I did not have him in the first video, and I am extraordinarily glad that I tried Omenkiller Rollo out. He can do so many different things, and he is an absolute beast. He can stagger almost any boss. He procs bleed with his 2 Omenkiller cleavers, and he also can take so much damage and punishment and stay around to the end of the fight, soloing most dungeon bosses, and is a huge help when it comes to main bosses in the game. I really like him. I'm very comfortable using him, and he is great if you want to sit back and cast, or he's also really good if you want to sit there with him and just continually stagger main bosses over and over again, because his heavy attacks pack a massive punch. So definitely snag Omenkiller Rollo. If you want to know where to grab him, you can go to the capital outskirts in Altus Plateau after you fight the Fell Twins boss fight in the capital. They'll drop that ashes for you, and you can definitely use him for most of end game. In our slot number 2, we have Luthel the Headless. Now, the reason that I did not add Luthel the Headless in the first video is because every single time that I had previously used this summon, the AI was super glitchy, and it would continually lose aggro every single time that it teleported away to come back and strike the enemy. So I didn't enjoy using Luthel, but I tried her a second time, and this is a really good summon. If you want an all-around great tank for you that has a lot of survivability, that can teleport around and confuse the enemy, and also is going to sit there and tank damage for you, then Luthel is definitely the way to go. This is a pretty early game summon that can be dropped by the Cemetery Shade inside of the Tombsword Catacombs dungeon right there in Weeping Peninsula. So definitely snag this one early. You're going to want to level this summon up as much as possible for that early game, because she will solo the majority of Weeping Peninsula and the rest of Limgrave. For summon slot number 3, I am actually surprised I've never used this guy before until it was recommended for me in the last big video that I did about summons, but Cleanrot Knight Finlay. What a absolute beast. I love using this summon. He is so fun to use. He has all the moveset of a Cleanrot Knight, so he can shoot the halo rings out. He also can proc rot by spewing rot breath on the enemy. And between his movesets and his overall tanky nature of being a Cleanrot Knight, he stays around for a really long time and makes very short work of adds, and is a really helpful asset when it comes to big boss fights in Elden Ring. And he'll also buff you the second that he's summoned, and he's going to give you a 30-second buff that's going to heal you for 7 HP per second, and also going to give you fire damage negation by 60%, which is the equivalent of Incantation Flame Protect Me. So overall, definitely a phenomenal support summon, and a summon that you should definitely use. However, you can't get this summon really until you get to the Hallig Tree, which is pretty much the end of the game. But if you want to snag this summon, he is in the Hallig Tree right inside of a chest protected by another Cleanrot Knight, so definitely check him out because he is worth every second. And for our 5th slot, we're looking at Battle Mage Hughes. Now, Battle Mage Hughes is one of those unsung summons that I think deserves a lot more credit. In short, he is a massive bully. He will go up and absolutely wreck any NPC that you throw him at, and is also a really great asset for you to have in bigger boss fights within this game. He does excellent ranged attacks with his magic sorceries. He also has really good melee sorceries that he uses, and he's pretty beefy when it comes to his HP. I had him out pretty much the entire time I was fighting in any area that would allow me to have summons, and he never went below half health. I think he is an excellent addition to the summons that have not not been stated before. Some people don't like him, but I think he is really, really good. And I also find he plays really well next to Dex and Strength players because we typically don't have many magic damage abilities. Getting him out on the field to provide us with some magic damage is really, really great. And in our slot number 6, arguably the best summon in the entire game, the Dung Eater summon. The first time I made a list like this, you guys really, really got upset with me that I did not mention the Dung Eater, and now I understand why. He is an absolute freaking unit. He is so good. I think he's better than Tish. I think he's better than the Mimic tier. He is by far my favorite summon that I have seen in action since I've been playing this game. He has a shriek attack that causes spells to track people and do a ton of damage. He does blood loss. He also has an incredible attack power on his sword that will allow him to slice through almost anybody in a few hits. He is so good. It's almost comical, and I'm surprised he hasn't been nerfed to the ground. I do want to give a quick shout out here in this video though, because this footage you are seeing of the Dung Eater fighting is not my footage. It was sent to me by one of my Twitter followers, so I'm going to put his name up on the screen right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I would not have been able to make this video without you, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And for our last summon that we're going to have here on this list, this is a good one, and it's Banish Knight Ingval. Banish Knight Ingval is just an all-around great summon. He's a fantastic fighter. He has great combos, he does a lot of damage, and he's really, really tanky. I have never put him out on the battlefield and been disappointed. I really like how he plays, and I like how you can play with him, and you can both stagger enemies and bosses with ease. I highly recommend that you use Banish Knight Ingval. On the last list that I had, a bunch of people were asking where he was because I put Oleg on the list, but not Ingval. So now it's time to give him some love. Definitely a solid summon, really fun to use, and he can also be found extraordinarily early in the Murkwater Catacombs. And this is usually the first summon that I snag because he is so good at carrying me through the majority of the game. And guys, that is going to be it for this particular video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have a lot of fun making these videos for you guys, so thank you guys so much for watching them. I love using summons in these games, although I will say the last playthrough I didn't use any summons, and it made me a better player. So take that for what it's worth. But thank you guys once again. I appreciate it. I'm making content Mondays and Fridays here on this channel for Elden Ring and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So if you're interested in that, feel free to sub to the channel. I would appreciate it. It means a ton. We're almost at 10K subs in a little bit over 5 months, so really excited about that. Thank you guys so much for your support. And until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.